first and foremost, we're a think tank. As Victor mentioned, that was the original intent of the creators, of the founders of Centro, was to have a depository of knowledge to generate scholarship that will inform our community as to where we are, where we're going, okay? And we have, as part of the 40th anniversary, put a report that is called the State of Puerto Ricans 2013. It's available on our website. You can all go. We didn't want to carry, copies for all of you. We should have, but we didn't. But anyway, but you can go to the store and get copies of it. But that function is very important. In that report, you're going to see that Puerto Rican has spread throughout the whole country. Like here, we celebrated event. We're going to celebrate one in Central Florida, where we are booming in terms of population. How many of you know that in the island of Puerto Rico today, okay, there are about 3.5 million Puerto Ricans. This is data for 2012. You know how many Puerto Ricans there are in the United States? 5 million, okay? 5 million. But you also know that the projections are that in a few years there will be more Puerto Ricans in Central Florida alone, not counting even Miami, than there are in the city of New York. Isn't that a remarkable transformation? Well, think about what that implies, but that's not the whole story. If New York is declining in concentration of Puerto Ricans, where are they going? They're going all over the place. We're growing in Texas, we're growing in except Chicago, but we're growing almost everywhere, okay? The old enclaves have diminished. Who will interpret that? What does that mean? Who's coming from the island? What is it that they contribute to society here in the United States? So a few hints about the answer to those questions are in the State of Puerto Ricans 2013. But that's a very important function for Centro. But as important as thinking about the transformations that affect us as a community and how we affect society is the whole question of preserving our legacy, our heritage, our culture, our history. And we created, a few years after Centro was inaugurated, the Centro Archives. Today we have about 256 collections processed, and there is a directory of those collections that is available. There's a sample in the table, and there's available through our website. But guess what? We concluded about 2 years ago that was not enough, okay? And there's one person in this room that was most responsible pushing us to go national, and that was Maurice Ferré, a member of our advisory board. And I want to recognize him for pushing Centro to become a national entity, a national hub of Puerto Ricans and of Puerto Rican studies. And I think that alone is a magnificent contribution. Once we get to record his story, it will be even better. In any case, but that function of preserving our legacy, our heritage, our culture is very important. And there's no other place like the Centro Archives. There's no depository of our history and our what other people have done, the pioneers, that the Centro Archives. I'm going to say more about the 100 and what that means to those archives in a minute. But the truth is that alone is not enough, because if you collect all those collections and no one knows they're there, and no one reads what's in there, and no one listens to the oral history, what the hell have we done? So an important function of Centro is to create products, publications, maps, videos, okay, that tell those stories, that take that collections, those contributions of these pioneers, and make them available to younger generations, that make all that important legacy available to other people who are coming to the States, even Puerto Ricans that come from the island. They don't know what other people have done before them, so that they can come and get jobs and have cultural organizations and contribute. Other Latinos coming to New York don't know the legacy of Puerto Ricans, how it is that we built institutions. So telling those stories is important, and that's why we publish books. That's how we do videos. That's why we put maps as the ones you saw in the entrance and so forth. Those educational products are so important. But that's not all, okay? Part of this effort, or the 40th anniversary, to add 100 collections, was not only to go national, but was to fill some gaps in our collection. For example, we thought that we didn't have enough military representation. We thought we didn't have enough scientists. We thought we didn't have enough law and order people. We thought there were some gaps, gays and lesbians. We thought that the contribution of Puerto Ricans expand over the whole range of fields and communities throughout the country. And we needed to make our archive representative of that reality and representative of those contributions that our leaders have made to different communities. And here in Miami, the people that we honor tonight have distinguished themselves for establishing a foundation for the rest of us who come after them. Okay, they were pioneers in education, in the sciences, in legal professions, and so on and so forth. Having said all this, they think, probably, that they actually don't know what they're getting into. I'm going to tell them. Okay? To make those products, those books, and to write those stories that we need to tell, it's not enough that they record their oral history. It's not enough that they contribute their documents. That has to be processed, okay? Experts, archivists have to organize that. Add metadata to all convert it to digital images, add metadata, process them to make them available so that people in Miami can know what people in Hartford and in Boston and in other places have contributed. And they need to have a website that actually allows people throughout the whole globe to have access to that information. So we're just starting the work, okay? It is a work that is arduous. It takes a lot of effort and energy, and it costs money. So here we are generating more work for our staff. They thank me every day for that, believe it. In any case, after all that work is done, then we move to the educational products. And so our honorees have a little bit of work to do from here on, okay? And we need the support of all the community to make that a reality. A few of our staff are here tonight. Where is Cynthia? They're in the back. Cynthia Toro is an archivist, specializes in oral histories, in digital images and all that, archival, digital archival. We have Roseni Plaza, who's our affinity coordinator, and put all this together, please. And like them, Rich is there in the camera. He puts all the videos that we put in our website. Actually, we have about 300 events that we have celebrated for 4 or 5 years, and he's in charge of doing that. And all this oral history is going to be edited and put up in the website. So these are the people, and along like them, there are other 40 or 50 that work with us in doing all this work. And we try to, kind of orchestrate all that and make it happen. In any case, it requires a lot of effort, and it will require a lot of volunteers to help us here at the local level. We already have a little bit of help from some scholars in the room, and Victor identifies some of them. But we need your help, and we thank you for all you can do to help us continue this campaign that we have started and are about to conclude in a few months. In any case, be proud, celebrate our heritage, and let's party. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much for coming and delighting us with your presence. I think that this is a wonderful turnout, much better than I even expected, so thank you so much. Right now we're going to start with the award ceremonies. So I'm going to just read a little bit of the bios from the program. Our first honoree is Susana Baker. Susana founded and launched the Art Experience, which conducts inclusive art and culinary experiences in the Design District in Windward. She writes a monthly column for Art for the South Florida Luxury Guide and has reached out to Florida's elite in the art world through several media outlets, including Bloomberg radio station and the South Business Today show. Baker represents Miami Art Basel, Fair Tents, Post Miami, and Art Miami for VIPs. Susana, please come up. Susana, I'm gonna pin you with the 100.
That little pin symbolizes that she has joined the 100 Puerto Rican, and through that the Centro archives. For us, it's very important that she has accepted this mission.
Absolutely. Our second honoree is Alicia Baró and her daughter Leticia Baró. Is she here tonight? Leticia? Okay. I'm just going to read a little bit about Alicia Baró. She was born in San Lorenzo, Puerto Rico, and later moved to New York with her family. She dedicated her life to raising social conscience and justice. For the past 50 years, she provided a voice to ensure the rights of Hispanics, other minorities, and women in politics, education, and employment. Okay. Thank you for accepting on her behalf.
Can I also just mention one thing?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm Bobby Ibarra, and I'm not Leticia Baró, but buenas noches. Mi nombre es Bobby Ibarra, and I'm not Leticia, but I did want to accept this since I nominated Alicia, and also to let you know that on December 12th, the city will be approving the naming of a street next to Roberto Clemente Park in Alicia Baró's honor.
Our third honoree is Manuel Chaves, and his son, Skip Chaves, will accept on his behalf. Manuel Chaves volunteered to serve in the U.S. Navy on November 1917 during World War I. He was stationed aboard the battleships of USS Texas. Chaves had to become a naturalized citizen in order to join the Navy because March 12, 1917 law granting citizenship to Puerto Ricans was not fully known. He received an honorable discharge December 12, 1918. Chaves and his family lived in Brooklyn until 1955 when he moved to Miami, Florida. In 1984, he received a U.S. flag which was flown at the White House in appreciation of his 50-year membership in the American Legion from the Legion Post in Coral Gables, Florida. He passed away that year. Skip, can you accept on his behalf?
I'm honored to receive this in the name of my dad and congratulate all the other Puerto Rican heroes who have been recognized and so many, all of you who have been so hard and provide leadership every day in our community. God bless you and thank you.
Was born in Brooklyn to Puerto Rican parents and celebrates her bicultural perspective as a New Yorican who was fortunate to grow up both in New York City and in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Baez received an associate in arts and sciences and advertising design from New York City Tech College. In 2000, she pursued her dream of being an artist and formally introduced her artwork to the public. Elizabeth's work has been displayed through solo and group exhibitions in galleries, museums, and private collections throughout the United States.
Thank you.
Our next honoree is Emilio López. Emilio López was born in Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico. He is what can be called a visionary, an intelligent, conscious man with the inexhaustible energy that distinguishes true heroes. He dared to represent the Puerto Rican people in Miami and their needs with great conviction and without hesitation. To accept this on his behalf is Chairperson of the Borinquen Health Center Board, Eva Perez, and Vice Chair Yvette Velez. The next honoree is Raul A. Martínez. Raul Martínez was raised and educated in the Rochester Public School District in upstate New York. He was founder of the Puerto Rican Student Union and advocated for greater educational opportunities for Latino and minority students. Following his high school graduation, he returned to Puerto Rico and obtained a Bachelor in Arts with a major in sociology and a minor in psychology from World University. He received a master's specializing in guidance and counseling from Bridgeport University in Connecticut. Martínez is the former project director of a youth gang intervention program called Gang Awareness and Intervention Network, providing outreach and prevention services throughout South Beach. He continues to develop and promote educational reforms through innovations in the development of charter schools, pre-college awareness programs, and other education services. And his family is here to accept on his behalf. Yes.
Do you mind if I borrow the chair? I'm gonna make you stand in a minute.
The next honoree is John Morales. John Morales is award-winning meteorologist and has been at NBC since 2009. His accurate weather prediction aided viewers during Hurricane Andrew in 1992, Hurricane Irene in 1999, and throughout numerous hurricane landfalls in the mid-2000s. In 2005, he was honored with the second of his 3 Emmy Awards for his coverage of Hurricane Wilma. John Morales.
Well, thank you very much and for the warm welcome. Just very briefly, I am most proud to be representing Puerto Ricans in the sciences because we've had a Puerto Rican astronaut already. All right, there are many Puerto Ricans that work in NOAA, in NASA, in many other places, and you know, we're quiet, we're behind the scenes, but we're making significant contributions. So science, technology, engineering, and math are things Puerto Ricans are heavily involved in this country, contributing in many ways, and I'm proud to be representing them.
Our next honoree, I know she's unfortunately not here, Judge Rosa Rodríguez. She was born in Washington, D.C. Both of her parents are from Arecibo, Puerto Rico. She graduated with honors from the University of South Florida, where she received her BA in economics in 1982 and was a member of Phi Kappa Phi and Beta Alpha Psi honor societies. In 1985, she earned a Juris Doctor from Yale Law School. And unfortunately, she had an emergency today and she could not make it. So we're just going to give her a round of applause. Our next honoree is Judge Migna Sánchez-Llorens. The Honorable Migna Sánchez-Llorens has dedicated her personal and professional life to public service. She has been actively involved in mentoring at-risk youth, as well as addressing issues that affect the homeless. She has served as a circuit court judge where she presides over felony criminal cases. She was elected to the bench in 2008. Judge Migna Sanchez.
Just briefly, I wanted to thank everyone for this recognition, but it's people like Rosa Rodríguez who was first steps that I'm quite honored, and again, thank you.
Our next honoree is Dr. Nilda Soto. Dr. Nilda Soto is the medical director of the Open Door Center in Homestead, Florida, a University of Puerto Rico School of Medicine graduate trained in internal medicine at Veterans Administration's Hospital. She has spent most of her professional life providing healthcare services to the disadvantaged while training healthcare professionals. She is the recipient of multiple awards and recognitions for her leadership in providing healthcare to the underserved, as well as for serving as a catalyst of multiple initiatives to bringing quality healthcare in South Dade County and the nation. She is not here today, but Yesenia Collazo, who is the chair of the Open Door Center Board, will accept on her behalf.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yesenia has just told me that she's actually seeing patients tonight, so she's extremely dedicated. Our next honoree is Dr. Víctor Vázquez-Hernández. Victor was born in New York City to Puerto Rican parents. He joined the United States Air Force when he served discharged. He returned to New York serving as Union Shop Steward. He attended Maria de Hostos Community College in the Bronx and became involved in campaigns to keep the college from closing. After completing degree in psychology at Inter-American University, he completed his master's degree in psychology from the University of Puerto Rico and returned to New York to work as the director of student activities at Hostos. He also joined the National Congress for Puerto Rican Rights and is the immediate past president of the group. He is moved to Philadelphia to work for Temple University in different roles. He completed his PhD in history at Temple and taught in the history and Latin American studies. He and his family are now in Miami, and he's a full-time professor of history at Miami-Dade, and he's also the chair of the social sciences department, and became a great friend to me in this process. And so thank you so much for all you've done.
Dicen que nadie es profeta en su tierra. So an honor coming from my own is special. To my family, to my wife Mayra, my son, Victor Ángel, Luz Sofía, thank you very much.
Our next honoree is Norah Venegas. Norah graduated from the University of Puerto Rico School of Medicine, School of Physical and Occupational Therapy, and Rio Piedras, magna cum laude. She continued her education at Florida International University in Miami, receiving a master's in adult education with a minor in administration. Her lifelong career has been dedicated to outpatient and home care physical and occupational and medicine services to orthopedic and neurologically impaired patients in Puerto Rico as well as Dade County. Norah?
Si puede pasar.
Our last but not least honoree is Maurice Ferré. Maurice is a former 6-term mayor of Miami. He was the first United States mayor of Miami and a candidate for the United States Senate. He began his career in public service as a member of the Florida House of Representatives and then went on to be elected a commissioner of the city of Miami. He served as the mayor of Miami from 1973 until 1985. After his terms as mayor, he involved himself in far-reaching business interests, public service, and commentary on current and political affairs.
High definition camera, we have still shots of all you accepting this. After Maurice says a few words, we want to all have a group photo here. Okay.
You know, there's nothing more dangerous in Miami than giving a politician a microphone. But I want to take this occasion to give special tribute to Dr. Edwin Melendez. Dr. Melendez and his staff, all of you that work with him, are dedicated American patriots y definitivamente patriotas puertorriqueños. You know, I thought that I've known the Centro for over 30 years. When I was mayor of Miami in the 1970s and 80s, I was active, and I became a very good friend of Felix Matos Rodríguez, who in those days, or a little bit later on, was the chairman, as Edwin is now, the director. And I thought, I was so impressed with the work that Hunter and the Centro do. But you know what? You ain't seen nothing yet. Edwin has come in, and the quality of the scholarship, the quality, the work product, and when I was asked to serve on this board, this advisory board, I accepted. But when I got there, they paid my way to New York, and I had a very nice time. And when I went to the meeting, I said, I accept this honor and I thank you for this, but with one condition. This cannot be New York centered. Now, of course, the majority of the diaspora of Puerto Ricans have been in New York for the past 150 years, 100 or maybe closer to 50 years. But the truth of the matter is that that's no longer the case. Because in another few years, we will be 1 million Puerto Ricans in the state of Florida. By the 2016 election, the Puerto Rican voting community in Florida will be the #1 Hispanic voting community in the state of Florida. And I said the only way that I'll serve on this committee is if I have a commitment that at least 10 of the 100 that were, and you actually did better than 10. So I'm here to thank you on behalf of all of us. And I'm very honored to be in such distinguished company. And Skip, I think what you did, because you should have been on that list, but typical Skip, this is classic Skip. He wanted his father to get the honor. Isn't that wonderful? Now, the last thing that I want to say to you tonight is that I couldn't be prouder of the Puerto Rican community in Miami than I am. It's really come of age. I haven't seen a party like this since Alicia Baró used to have a party down at the Bayfront Park Auditorium. How many of you went to those parties? Bayfront Park. There are not too many of us left. Those are parties, and this is a wonderful party. And I wanted to take the occasion to recognize Dr. Víctor Vázquez-Hernández and Dr. Vanessa Bird Arismendi, because we wouldn't be here, and that food was delicious. Don't you think it was wonderful food? No pongan ni en casa. But I would like for us, before we finish here, to give Hunter, the Centro, Dr. Edwin Melendez, Dr. Victor and Dr. Vanessa a standing ovation. So up on your feet, and let's give what they deserve. Thank you very much.
We need a photo op for the family.
Yes, and I have one more person that I would like to personally thank. And this person, I'm honored to meet her today. But before today, she was so instrumental in everything that has happened here tonight. And this is for you, Miriam Sierra.